Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another episode of Trudge Report. This is a recovery-based podcast, but don't worry. If you're not sober like Corey or not ready to be sober, we talk about plenty of other things.
Whoa.
Just kidding, Corey.
You just started a rumor, dude.
Including sports, trending topics, and a good bit of nonsense. My name is Sean and I am your host. I'm joined by my fellow trudgers and good friends, sober good friends, Corey, Bill, and Greg. This new episode of Trudge Report that you're listening to is coming out on its normally scheduled Tuesday morning. Please note for all our listeners going forward, we will be changing our release date for new episodes to come out on Thursdays. So this new episode will come out on Tuesday, September 3rd, and then the next one after that won't be released until Thursday, September 12th. So remember, listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Our videos will still come out on Fridays every week, so you can watch episodes on YouTube and Facebook. But as always, please be sure to download on your listening platforms. Remember to like and subscribe on all social media outlets with the handle @TrudgeReportPod. We are brought to you, as always, by the wonderful Stella Mix Podcast Management and Miss Janine Stella. Gentlemen, good evening, good day. Corey has asked for the mic, so we're going to give it to him first. Corey, hello, sir.
Thanks, Sean. Number one, I have the baseball game on, but I'm sure you don't want to know anything. Correct?
Right? I saw that it was 4-1 in the fifth a while back.
Okay. You can watch it.
Okay. I'm just going to check. Go ahead. Proceed.
I mean, I can tell you.
No, proceed.
Right. So
anyway, I don't want to hear it from you.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sweet.
Well, here's the thing. This could change. Anyway. Yeah, depressing news today, guys. And we've all seen it, obviously, but so last night I'm scrolling on Facebook and I see an article that 2 bicyclists were killed by being struck by a car in basically my hometown, and kind of went, damn, and then I kept scrolling and whatever, and then this morning I woke up to a text saying, John Godreau died, and his brother, and so
Corey,
John Godreau,
for the listeners who may not know who that is, please explain.
Yep, getting there. John Godreau, hockey player, plays. He was playing for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He spent, I think, 9 years in Calgary playing for the Flames. Nicknamed Johnny Hockey.
The Canadians are going to be very upset.
Canadians are probably very upset. But yeah, man, him and his brother struck by at least an impaired driver. I don't know if they got a read on him to say he was legally drunk or not, but he admitted to having 5 or 6 beforehand, and that's what happened. But I don't know if you followed hockey at all the last few years, you know that John was a damn good player. He's been an all-star multiple years of his career, and it just, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's weird seeing the headlines talk about somebody that you went to school with, and the story I just want to tell, and I made a Facebook post about it too, because I'd like to, when tragedies happen or when deaths happen, I like to highlight the good memories that I have with people, right? And I hadn't spoken to him or any of his family for the past 20 years. Literally the last time I probably did, I was in 4th grade, and but back then, we rode the school bus together. I rode the school bus with him and his brother and their sister, and we used to talk hockey. I was raised to love hockey and the Flyers and everything. And I must have mentioned this to something about the Flyers to them one day, and John literally he had Flyers gloves on, like winter gloves. He took them off his hands and gave them to me. Super nice to him. Once, fast forward 20 years when, both of the brothers did everything with the careers that they did. John specifically being in the NHL and stuff, like that was always a fun story that I could tell people when talking about hockey and stuff. And that was really cool. So it's tragic. Their sister Katie was getting married today, and I assume that's why they were both in town.
Oh wow, that's terrible.
Yeah. So you know,
I didn't
prayers.
read that. I
Yeah.
didn't read that far. That's sad.
She's actually a teacher at the school we all went to. So yeah, it's tragic, man, and I don't know, big loss to the hockey world, and you can tell that by just going on Google News or whatever. Like the outpouring of love and support is evident. There is a GoFundMe. I don't have all the details with me right now, so I'm not gonna throw it out there. But if you're interested and you're listening,
I'm sure people can find it. Yeah, if they like it. Yeah, I'm
there's
sure
there's a GoFundMe specifically for Matt Godreau's wife and kids. Wife is also pregnant, makes the story that much more tragic.
Yeah, it's tough.
So there is a GoFundMe. I just looked a couple hours ago, and it has far exceeded its goal. But you know what? You know, whatever people can give to help them out. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's basically. I wanted to just throw that out there, man.
Yeah.
Like rest in peace to a hometown hero for sure.
Thank you, Corey. Appreciate that. Gentlemen, the other two look like you're in some new undisclosed locations. Bill, what are you up to, bud?
Hard to complain after that story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm up at my uncle's house. I thought Florida was hot, but his office is way hotter and more humid. I don't know what the hell's going on up here, but all good. We got trapped on the tarmac for a couple hours today. That was pretty fun. And I'm glad to be here. You know, I had my first official Pittsburgh meal. You know, I come up here, I eat all those things you can't get down south right away. You know, tomorrow morning.
Like, give me an example.
Tonight it was just a good steak, man.
Can't get steak down in South Florida?
No, not like this. Not in the wood fire oven. Tomorrow morning, DeLuca's Diner, you definitely can't get down there. Literally, I think pizza and all hoagies are better up here.
For sure.
All that stuff.
Time out, Bill. Time out, Bill. Real quick. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I gotta know. I've wanted to ask you this question now on the pod for weeks. Please tell me you don't take part in this weird shit, this Altoona style pizza. I know that's from your neck of the woods, your area. You guys know about this?
What is this?
It looks disgusting. It's
Learn me.
They like melt like instead of mozzarella cheese, it's American cheese and like pickles.
Oh no,
that's blasphemy, dude.
Fucking frisbee that thing off a bridge.
Okay, all right. I wanted I needed to verify that. I didn't think you were a man of such ill couth, but I need to verify.
I have a question. So like New York, New Jersey, the Northeast, obviously there's the water's a little different. Bagels, pastries, pizza is different. Is Pittsburgh's the same? Or is it just better than South Florida? You know what I mean?
No, we're the Northeast, so we're not Midwest.
You're not the Midwest? Because some people think that Pittsburgh is the Midwest. I personally disagree. Yeah. You and I have had this conversation, but there are a lot of people out there that think Pittsburgh is the Midwest, and I think they're full of it.
I wouldn't say it's the Midwest either, but
there's a lot of people that believe in Santa Claus too.
I don't think wrong with that.
Okay, well, Santa Claus is real. We know that. Somebody's kids might be listening. I don't think you can have. I understand Pittsburgh is in like the western part of the state of Pennsylvania, but it is in the state of Pennsylvania, one of the 13 original colonies on the eastern seaboard. I don't think you can classify a city that's in a state that's on the eastern seaboard as a different geographical location, right? Am I saying that correctly? See what I mean? Like, do we have anything else like that? Like Southern California isn't the central part, right? It's not right. Exactly. It's not called the South. It's just California. You know what I mean? Or
we're a Commonwealth, which I know Virginia's a Commonwealth. I'm pretty sure that's some association to the original.
Thank you. Okay.
States, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
You mean Pennsylvania is a Commonwealth? You mean?
Correct. It is a Commonwealth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the freaking Dutch, dude.
The Dutch, and the food here is way better than Florida, except for obviously seafood and Hispanic food.
I was going to say the Cuban food in Florida is second to none.
We might also have to talk about this Dutch thing. Like, You guys heard?
Hold
of,
on,
like,
though,
people putting.
Sean.
Okay, sorry.
I'm
Go ahead.
offended that you would compare me to somebody from Altoona, Greg. That's fucking nuts.
Well,
Altoona.
it's your
Do you
neck
know where
of the
Altoona
woods.
is?
What's
Your
Altoona?
neck of the woods.
No, it's not. I don't even know where that is. It can't be that close.
It's
I think it's
closer
over
than
by the old Valley guy over there.
Like tuna fish?
It's over on Mark's side, isn't it? By Scranton and all that.
I don't know.
I can't fact check.
I don't know
that.
that.
I don't
I
have my
can't.
computer up.
Let me.
Yeah, Bill's our resident fact checker.
I will fact check while you're talking.
It cannot be anywhere near here, though.
While you're doing that, you guys heard this whole like Pennsylvania Dutch thing of putting like cheese on your apple pie and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, they do that. That's a Dutch.
It's terrible, right? That's what I said. This Dutch thing, like you've heard of that, right? I know it's terrible.
But why is that associated with Pennsylvania? Because it's Dutch.
Yeah, Pennsylvania Dutch.
Okay. PA Dutch, baby.
Bill, geographically, how far are you from the Amish?
Hey, listen, Bill.
Let's talk real shit here. What the hell are the Dutch anyway? Like, what are the Dutch?
Geographically, Bill, you're about
from Deutschland, dude.
Deutschland is German, isn't it?
Well, Dutch is in a similar geographic region. I might be getting way over my skis here, but but if you're talking about like being Dutch, you're from certain European countries. Yeah, Netherlands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those are
where the Van Halens are from.
Yeah. I don't know. My wife's area there's a lot of Amish in my wife's where she's from in the York, PA area and surrounding regions.
That's where they're at, dude. Whoever
Lancaster.
Lancaster's pretty awesome. I will say that.
Or pronounced Lancaster to some.
Yeah. So I can confirm that Altoona, PA is approximately 97 miles to the east of Bill's location.
Yeah, years away.
Well, considering the state of Pennsylvania is like, forever long, I would say
pretty big.
It's pretty big, but I digress. I just wanted to make sure you didn't take part in that blasphemy.
Why don't you go to Philly and get yourself a cheesesteak, Bill?
I think Philly has the best cheesesteaks. I will say that.
Cheesesteak?
Cheesesteaks.
So Dutch is Netherlands, but the language is a Germanic language. So yeah, it's got some Germanic tendencies and stuff like that. But anyways, all right. So Bill's in Pittsburgh. No.
I'm on stolen land up here. The Dutch stole this land.
The Dutch stole this land. Greg, what are you doing? Where are you at?
I'm about 3 hours south of my home in Cleveland. This place is called Hocking Hills. It is a local.
Sounds like a horror movie.
It does. It sounds like a horror movie.
It does a little bit.
It is actually a wonderful place. It is. Sure. We're kind of in the wilderness. I have no service on my cell phone right now, and I'm in this cabin. The cabin comes with a hot tub. It's currently about 92 degrees outside at the moment.
Wait a minute, Greg. You said you were going to be shirtless in the hot tub for this episode.
He did say that.
I was going to be shirtless in the hot tub for this episode.
In light of the recent picture that circulated on some social media outlets of you and all the weight you've lost,
we're all stud
with a boner. Yeah,
the rager.
He's
bricked up from the floor up, boys. So, but no, my girlfriend and I are here for the weekend, and we're having a nice, chilled out time, man. It's gonna be a good weekend, man. Got a lot of hiking, some shopping. There's also some Ohio Dutch and Amish stuff down here. So, yeah, we had a fantastic dinner this evening, and yeah, we're just
the Dutch are getting way too much love on this podcast. No free ad.
Yeah, fuck them, dude. I like that fire.
No, we're sorry, any Dutch people. Would not fuck you. We're just, we're just gonna stop talking about you. I pray that this podcast one day gets big enough that like when we say stuff like that, people just like light us up in our mentions about like, how dare you. Yeah. Like, do that. I hope we get big enough.
We're gonna have to bring the wrath. Erase our first 20 episodes.
No, bring the wrath. I'm ready for it.
So this is the stuff that will cancel us one day when we all go into politics.
Yeah,
this is the stuff that'll come up.
Good point. All right, guys. Week 1 of the NFL is coming up. We did do some NFL stuff a couple weeks ago. just a forewarning to our listeners, one of the reasons we're changing our release date to Thursdays is because we're also going to be changing our recording day, which doesn't concern the listeners necessarily because it'll still come out on Thursdays. But there is going to be a lot of NFL talk over the season, not every week and not every segment or anything like that, but we are going to have quite a bit of it. We still are going to do our recovery segments and all that. So Week 1 is coming up. We want to just preview a few games. Game 1, Thursday night, September 5th. The reigning 2-time Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, versus my wife and my family's favorite team, the Baltimore Ravens. Greg, give me a couple words on that game.
Oh, the Chiefs are going to dust them in the air.
No, not those kind of words.
I mean,
I am pumped. I'm pumped to see how Baltimore operates with Derrick Henry. Does that change the way that Lamar plays the game? Does he get to throw more often? Can he throw more accurately when he does that? Can he air it out for 300 or 400 yards a game on a consistent basis? And does it open up more opportunities there? I mean, Derrick Henry's a great pass catching back too. So, I am excited to see their offense, but I think, just the reigning Super Bowl champs got the edge, man. And they're a phenomenal team. I said it before in a previous episode, but I think Pacheco's the guy to have on your roster if you're a fantasy guy. I think Mahomes and the boys go out there and do their thing.
Fair enough. Bill, what do you got for us on that game?
I don't care if they're starting Walter Payton in the Ravens backfield. No one can fix Lamar's arm, so I can answer that for you, Greg. He will not be slinging for 300 a game. He will not be doing any of those passing things you said, but he's still a hell of a quarterback when it comes to game time, winning games, and fantasy football. Week 1 of the season. Is this game in Baltimore or Kansas City?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Damn it. I wanted to see how Taylor Swift operated in the streets of Baltimore. Anyway,
she will not.
She's welcomed. There. No, she's welcomed.
Baltimore is probably one of the worst cities in America.
No, it's not. No.
Oh
St.
my God.
I think St. Louis is probably worse than that.
Did you watch?
But it's one of the worst, Sean.
It's bad, dude.
Listen.
Comparing it to St. Louis and saying it's better than St. Louis.
Using the words
crack and heroin or
listen.
Different.
We might have to clarify that because there's a lot of shitty cities in the United States. So,
Baltimore's top 5 bad.
Well, Philly's number 1. We all know that.
I'll get some
For
data
sure.
on this.
I feel like this is a whole different episode.
Yeah, Corey, look something up, Corey. Look something
Mark
up.
this down for a future episode.
Yeah, power rank some cities, dude, and best and worst. All right, deal.
We got this.
And look this up. Where was The Wire filmed? Anyway,
so that was Baltimore.
Yeah, I know where it was
show.
Yeah. So
they're in Kansas City.
In Kansas City, does anyone have the line? I can't look anything up. Just
is the line out yet? I don't think so.
I think it's Chief minus 135.
Minus.
All right.
It says -3. I don't know if I'm reading this right. Oh no, money line. Kansas City -160, Baltimore +135.
So they're heavily favored. Kansas City's heavily favored. Week 1 is weird, though, and the Chiefs are kind of a little bit slow starters. I think Baltimore hangs around in this game, but I'm going to say
dust them.
No, there's no way they dust them. But I could see Baltimore winning the game. But if you need my score, I say 27-24 Chiefs.
Wow. Close.
Okay.
Barring an 80-yard field goal from Dustin Hopkins. Or not Dustin.
Dustin
Hopkins. That Rain
Justin
Man?
Tucker.
Justin Tucker, the actor, Dustin Hopkins.
Dustin
Hoffman, isn't it?
Hoffman out there kicking him.
Yeah. Whatever.
It's Anthony Hopkins and Dustin Hoffman.
Okay, Rain Man, whatever.
Corey, do you got any words on that, or do you just want to go right to your game?
Well, no. I mean, you guys make this sound really good, and I make it sound less good. But Kansas City's going to win, I think. That's all I really got.
Yeah.
I think they'll do it.
They do. Listen, in all seriousness, Kansas City.
But they had a slow start. They had
Yeah,
a slow
but
start last year, right?
that's
Yeah.
almost scarier. That's almost scarier. Like I'd almost rather them come out and get off to like a 5-0 start, and then it's like the downfall's coming. The slow start to me is just
True
like
for the
they're
Eagles.
they're just gonna get it. They're just gonna figure out.
I was
what
going
they're
to say,
doing.
wasn't there a team last year that came out and started like 8-0 and then just
I think they wore
completely
green
shit the bed?
jerseys.
Yeah,
I am
they like it.
treading
They just
treading
collapsed.
lightly as well, but I'm treading lightly because I'm a Steelers fan, so I find myself always hating on the Ravens, but they did lose a lot of defensive players too. It's going to be really hard for them in Kansas City week 1 to like pull this together. I mean, they lost Patrick Queen. I mean, they lost a whole bunch of other.
Yeah, but they reciprocated. I mean,
they're
I see
young
what-
though.
I get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Week 1 on the road's tough ass for
Derrick
that.
Henry might just come out and own everything though, dude. I'm excited. I am excited to watch him. Like I know he's a little bit older, but I don't really think he's lost that much. And you know, he's an
listen,
animal.
you can
dude.
be old. Look at the
absolute
shape the
animal.
guy's in. Look at the shape.
Not only
The guy
that, he looks like a
gladiator.
Raven, like in that uniform.
Oh, he looks
just
so good
looks-
in those uniform, dude.
You
Looks so
know,
good.
like
yeah.
he just looks like a Raven.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
All right.
literally.
Good stuff. I'm going Ravens, obviously, but I don't bet. I don't do anything like you guys do. I always pick with my heart. I very rarely pick with my head or what the analytics say. I'm going
That's
Ravens.
all I know. That's all I know how to pick with.
Well, that's a good segue into your game, Corey. Los Eagles taking on, who are you playing again?
Packers.
Playing the Packers. That's gonna
El
be a tough
Pacaritos
game. El
in
Pacaritos
Brazil.
in Brazil, but Philly's the home team. So congratulations, Corey.
Well, what's that even mean?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not
You lost the home
thing.
game.
It means you get
Yeah,
to choose.
dude.
No, it means you get to choose what jerseys you want.
We're actually wearing what is it? It's black helmets, white jerseys, black pants.
I
For
kind of
what-
like the
that's-
black. I like those.
It looks pretty
uniforms on you
cool.
guys.
It looks pretty cool. But I thought it was because they couldn't wear green. And there was like multiple different rumors of why that was. Like something about a rival team of whatever team that plays in the stadium. And then there was another rumor that was like, oh, it's a gang thing, whatever. I thought they couldn't wear green. It's all
The
The
bullshit.
Brazil national team's green.
I
Well,
think
that-
you're too far down some social media rabbit hole.
no,
on
I
that
swear to
one,
God.
Corey.
Did you guys not see this?
No.
I did
No.
not. Are you kidding me?
No.
Okay. Anyway,
No, dude.
I'm just telling you that that's what was said about it on social media and stuff. Yeah, social media.
It's got to be true.
On Eagles
But it was
radio.
a lot though, dude. It was a lot. Like it seemed very Anyway, but it's bullshit because the Packers are wearing green. They're wearing green. So so I don't
It
know.
being
We
one
just
of their
and
only two
it-
colors.
well,
And
both
it is
teams were
literally
green.
like Brazil's color is green. I mean, so I don't.
Right.
Green and yellow, right? Same as the
Yeah.
Packers.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I don't know
All right,
what
give us some
Slow
some
news day in
analytics
Philly.
on the
They started
green.
writing
Yeah.
shit up.
I have
Give
nothing.
us some analysis. Yeah,
I have
you
nothing.
gotta
The
have
Eagles are
something.
going to win. No, the Eagles are going to win. I am excited to see. Like I never. So again, let's reiterate the fact that I'm kind of a new fan to all of this stuff. Let's say, like I said before, like let's say the Super Bowl in 2023 on is when I've been paying attention. Okay, last
Okay.
time the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, like really actually paying attention. Paid attention a little bit, like when they won the Super Bowl. That I did pay attention a little bit back then, but that's it.
Well, who are you
so-
most excited to see out there for your
Well,
Eagles?
that's
Corey? 'Cause
exactly
you
what I
got
was-
new players.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. And I think it's obvious that it's going to be Saquon because I never paid attention to him. And the hype around him is a lot. I know like the next thing that everybody's going to say is, but can he stay healthy? Well, if that's not the most obvious fucking thing to say about football, can he stay healthy? Duh.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
name of the game,
true.
right? I'm tired of hearing that. So
Yeah, well, get
about
used to it
anybody.
because they say it all the
Dude,
time.
It's so obvious. Like, yes, of course. If he breaks his leg, he can't play. Yeah, I think, yeah, duh. So, anyway.
Well, I think the bigger thing is that it's tough when a running back is consistently injuring himself every single season and having these stretches of missing 4 games, 6 games.
So
over
is
the
that
rest of
true
the
for
year.
him?
Well,
I wouldn't know.
look,
I wouldn't
I'm
know.
not I'm not a sports doctor, but from what I know, like as long as there's not a structural damage with him, there's not anything. It's not indicative. Just because you've been hurt 3 years in a row does not mean you're going to get hurt the 4th year. You know what I
Right,
mean? It happens
right.
all the time. You got guys that get hurt for Keenan Allen. He got hurt 2 years in a row, right? Everybody, oh, he's injury prone, this, that, and that. It was like 2 fluke injuries. He hasn't been injured like, he's been like a Pro Bowler like 6 years in a row,
Well, that's kind of, right, and that's my point. Like, we don't know. Like, they could take out Jalen Hurts and the season's gone. Like, it's just a meh.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a fluke. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I was just going to say for the running, like, and Bill makes a good point for sure. But if we're talking the wide receiver position, as long as that wide receiver has their speed and has their legs, it's fine. The running back position is, I mean, they got to have their legs, and Saquon does. I mean, Saquon's got one of the best physiques in the game. You can tell he works his ass off there in the offseason, but they do so much more. You know what I'm saying? They're blocking. They're drawing contact every single play. Not to say that the receivers aren't, but it's not the same kind of contact. So
I mean, overall, I'm just excited to see Eagles football again. Do you guys have anything nice to say about the Eagles?
No. AJ Brown's a stud.
Yeah, he is.
Vontae Adams is a prima donna, but yes, also a good football player.
Devontae Smith
or Devontae Smith. Sorry,
I'm excited to see him too. He was playing last year. He was like the only one playing towards
the new coordinator. The new coordinator is going to use him in the slot a lot, so he's going to be featured a lot more in this offense.
They got Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
I'm out on him, dude. He's not this boy wonder genius that everyone was saying he was in.
They're acting like
Dallas. He's not, dude. He's not. I don't think he is.
Because he went to the Chargers and they did nothing.
I don't think he is.
I mean, they were dealing with some injuries, but still.
Yeah. So, Bill,
go Birds.
Tough first week matchup on your end, dude. Atlanta might not be. Atlanta might be the real deal.
I think. I hate to say this. We're gonna lose that game.
Mr. Unlimited, though, man. No.
Kirk Cousins. First of all, love that dude. I don't think the Steelers' run D is really like put together. Like, we take some weeks to get it together. I think Bijan has a monster game. I think the Steelers will battle, but I don't know, man. I'm very weary about the Falcons. I think that if I was a betting man, I'm probably taking the Falcons in the points. But I'm excited to see what Russ does. We're gonna see. If anything, Russ could will us into something here, but I'm very nervous about the Kirk Cousins Falcons with Bijan coming into town, and they have a stout run defense. And our new offensive coordinator, which I do not like this move, but it's Steeler football. He's going to run the ball. Arthur Smith. He wants to lead the league in runs.
I like Art Smith personally, just so you know. I like Arthur Smith. Like,
what am I missing here, though? Has he won a Super Bowl with anybody?
No, I just like his. I don't know. I just like his style. Like, he's always. I like him in the media. I think he's just a straight shooter, straightforward dude. I think he's a very good coordinator, not a great head coach, but a very good.
So we're gonna try to control the clock this year a lot, and play that game. And I just don't know if it's gonna work that week 1 against the Falcons.
I think by week 5 you'll have Fields in there full time.
No, I disagree with that though.
Really? I think so.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think.
But I think that, and this isn't just me as a rival of the big rivalry between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, but straight up, the amount of noise that there has been leading up to the beginning of the season coming out of Steelers training camp is just, to me, it never bodes well. And I get it. I understand why there's the noise. You got 2 starting quarterbacks from last year, kind of battling for a spot, but they should have from jump, in my opinion, said, this is Russ's team, Justin's going to, and that's what they're saying now. But, I don't know, man. I hope that you guys have a competitive year. You guys have a very tough schedule. You got certainly in our division,
5th toughest, I think.
In our division, you got definitely the toughest in our division. So
no, it's in the whole league. It's the toughest.
5th. I think it's the.
No, I'm saying overall in our division, like, you guys have the toughest out of the 4 of the teams. So
you look that up.
It's going to be a year, man. But if you guys can keep it close and, like you said, play the clock game and hang in there and find a way to win, then all that changes. So,
and just to clarify, I don't think we're going to stink. I think we're going to be good. We're going to make the playoffs. I think we'll do great against teams like the Ravens, the Browns, those teams.
Well,
but teams that can like open it up and like really kind of like get it going, like
a Miami or something like that.
Yeah, Chiefs, Bills, even the Falcons. I think the Falcons are going to be good this year. They were my sleeper team on our pick.
Possibly the Chargers.
No, not the Redskins either.
Hey, listen,
everything
that I read,
Dallas.
they're saying Bijan is going to be that guy this year. So, and I look forward. I love watching Kirk Cousins too.
They're kind of
a maniac.
They're kind of loaded, bro. Atlanta really is like.
Well, and here's
Kyle Pitts,
and they play in the worst division in the league, so they're easily going to probably win that division.
Yeah,
not only that, they only have like 3 outdoor games this year. Or it's like three. Seriously, like all their thing is indoor, and that's a huge advantage for quarterback and everything,
And to see what Drake London will be able to accomplish with a real deal quarterback throwing him the ball, man. Like, they're going to be good.
Kyle Pitts is a freak too. Bijan's a freak. I mean, it's.
Let's go. Let's go to Greg. Cleveland versus Dallas at Cleveland.
Dallas at Cleveland, man. This is it. I have confidence.
CD Lamb's locked up.
CD Lamb is locked up.
Not that we ever thought.
What's that mean?
They signed him.
They signed him. He's the second highest paid non-quarterback in the league
history. Easily or top. You could argue he's the best receiver in the league. You can easily say he's top 3 without an argument.
For sure. The thing is and again, like I was talking about this with a buddy at work the other day, but it's like we confuse because it's so popular, and like I confuse it all the time too. But like we confuse greatness in real football with how great are these guys for my fantasy team, right?
Two different things, right?
Very, very different things, right? Because CeeDee Lamb, it could having the combo of Dak and CeeDee Lamb could win your fantasy league almost in and of itself, but that doesn't train. What have you guys done? What have you done in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Well, that's it. That's the thing. It doesn't really matter, but the Cowboys love the regular season. They're regular season killers. And
bad news for you. It's regular season.
Yes. If this was the divisional playoffs or the playoffs, I'd be like, yeah, you guys probably got this. But and it's only game 1. It's only week 1, so I don't want to get ahead of my skis. But
it's
where's this game at?
Dallas could come out slinging. It's in Cleveland, right?
It's at home in Cleveland. Dallas is they could come out slinging. They've got some of the best edge rushers in the league. So do we. Yeah. So, there's that.
That's true. It might be like a low scoring game, honestly.
Yeah. Defensive game. The thing that concerns me the most is that Deshaun Watson hasn't seen a preseason snap. Like actually on the field against another team. Yeah, they've been doing it in practices and scrimmages and whatever. I don't necessarily agree with Stefanski holding them out, but I'm also not an NFL head coach, so my opinion doesn't really mean much. This is it, dude. This is in my lifetime, or at least since I was a young child, this is the most talented roster Cleveland has put together, and it's built for we must win now. So this is to me a prove it year for Deshaun. We did just restructure Deshaun's contract again. Right. So we have the most cap space in the NFL. What we're going to do with that cap space, I couldn't tell you, because Ayuk didn't want to come here. He didn't want to go to Pittsburgh either. He wanted to, and that just fell through. But, so I don't know what we're going to do with it, but it does bode well, I guess. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm all for it. Browns 31, Cowgirls 19, but
all right.
I have I have 2 stupid questions if it can be answered quickly.
Go ahead.
Where was CD last year?
Dallas.
It was Dallas. Okay.
Yeah. His contract was just coming to an end.
Always been
contract.
Okay. Oh, right.
And he probably will stay there for life, honestly. Or at least.
That's how much I pay attention to them. Second question. Greg, you mentioned like when you have like a quarterback receiver combo on your fantasy team, and I need to know this kind of shit right now.
It's called a handcuff, sir.
is that something that you want to go for? Like, do you you know what I mean? Is that something?
It depends on the quarterback and receiver, but yeah, I mean,
Dak and CD are good, or would be a good combo.
Yes.
Right?
Like,
Corey, don't even think about that right now. Just try to draft the right position players throughout the whole draft.
This is my strategy.
Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are a good one. You know, that kind of thing.
We're not talking fantasy right now, but I'm not afraid to say this because I'm dumb as fuck and I'm in it to lose. But I'm going down the sheet, dude. Like, that's my strategy. So that's why I wanted to ask that question. I don't
really,
know.
really, really want Will Levis. That's who you want.
Don't listen to that.
I like Will Levis.
All right.
Of course you do.
I will say this. I will say this too, real quick. I think that the Browns win the game. Upset alert right there. I don't think that the Browns are favored in the game. And the more I think about it, I think Deshaun Watson has a monster here. I really do.
Dude,
I think
it has to happen.
Because it ain't. Hold on, because it ain't over if he fails again. Because he's in a fucking huge contract. So the Browns fans will be right back at the fire pit next year with the marshmallows ready. So they're not worried about that. But he had a lot of bad breaks and rapes that happened to affect him. I said this on a previous episode, and I think he just has a big year. He's so talented, like it just doesn't make sense.
He is talented, and it would be fun. He was fun when he played in Houston, man. When
he was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on real quick. I'm gonna touch on a couple more.
Browns are putting 50 up on him.
Couple more quick games, and then we got to get to our recovery segment. I don't have much on my game. Commanders versus the Bucks. Baker Mayfield taking on Baker Mayfield and the boys. I just want to see Jaden. I want to see what happens. I'm ready to see some good, solid football. I do not have my hopes up about anything for this game or the entire season. Although I do think this game is very winnable for us. And then you got the Rams at the Detroit Lions. Couple big games. I think the Rams are going to be very good again this year, or at least, they're definitely the number one threat to San Francisco in that division. And then obviously Detroit, big year for them. See if they can kind of back up what they did last year. Sorry, Robert. I don't know if they can. I just don't know if they can. But I really hope they do. Truly, I hope they do. So big game on Sunday night. That's the late game Sunday. And then last game let's touch on, boys, is the Monday night game. Triumphant return for one Aaron Rozier.
He's going to make it 5 snaps this time.
Versus
that's my prediction.
Versus the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers, Ayuk finally signed. I think I saw that last night. They finally got Ayuk signed. And
4-year, 130.
What about Trent Williams? Did they get Trent Williams signed yet? I don't think so.
I don't think.
And that's a big deal. That's one of their OTs. I like San Francisco. I think they're going to be CMC. I mean, I think CMC's a little hurt right now, but he should be good to go.
He's hurt?
Eli Mitchell out for
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, Eli Mitchell, his backup is out for the year.
So he's playing.
He'll play, but he is technically like coming back from something minor. Which is a big deal for him.
Yeah,
in his position.
So you're saying don't draft him?
All eyes. No, I wouldn't say that. All eyes are going to be on this game. The Jets could also be very good this year. I don't personally think they are. I think they'll be competitive, but I just don't. We forget, man. I know he was hurt last year, but 2022 he was terrible, dude. Aaron Rodgers, he was terrible, and I don't want to hear anything about the weapons he had around him, because the same weapons are around Jordan Love right now, and they were last year, and they were really good. Maybe they've added some, but they've added
a lot. They've added a lot.
The same.
Christian Watson was there. Romeo Dobbs. I mean, those guys are still all there. Same guys that were there in 2022. I mean, yeah, they've added, but they added more this year, but they didn't add a ton last year. All I'm saying is that Aaron Rodgers is 40-something years old or 40 years old. I know it's been done before. I'm sure he's in great physical health, but people keep comparing him to Tom Brady and how Tom did. Tom wasn't coming off an Achilles injury. That's a big injury to come back from. Same with Kirk Cousins. Like, I'm curious to see how these guys perform, because like you said, Greg, about the running backs, it's kind of the same deal. It's almost subconscious sometimes, like planting and turning and like off those ankles, getting out of those knees.
If the pocket breaks down and you got to move.
And I'm not even saying it. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. That's been fully documented, I think, but I'm speaking of this just as like from a realism standpoint. Like, I just want to, like, his body, it just might not be there the way it is. Now, here's the thing. He's got a good enough team around him in the Jets. I think they do anyways, that he might not have to be MVP caliber Aaron Rodgers. He might just have to be, you know, solid B plus Aaron Rodgers to get them to where they want to go. So it's going to be interesting nonetheless. It's a huge game.
And that's the thing is with the Buccaneers, was Tom Brady playing MVP caliber football?
I think in 2020 he was.
In 2020
down the stretch he was.
The year they won, no, he did. The year they won, he had amazing statistics. Yeah. The following year when they lost to LA in the divisional round, it wasn't as high, but the year they won the playoffs or the Super Bowl with the Bucs, he put up numbers, dude. He did.
Yeah, and I don't personally know what Aaron Rodgers' routine is or whatever. He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's really like taking the best care of himself in an optimal way. Maybe he is, but I will say this: his Achilles injury was not on his planning foot to throw. Kirk Cousins was. Okay, so that's harder for Cousins to come back from than Aaron Rodgers. I guess I have a love case for a lot of people lately, but I think Aaron Rodgers does definitely will them into or not will them, but takes that team into the playoffs, maybe even deep. Yeah. Brees Hall, I mean, Garrett Wilson. Yeah.
Tough division, though. It's a low-key tough division. I mean, I know Miami's whatever. We say what we want about the Bills, but that's a low-key tough division, I think.
They win this game on Monday Night Football. I'm sure of that. And
I don't know.
Baker Mayfield beats your Redskins by 2 touchdowns, and that 28-13 in that game. Okay. I think Jaden looks good, but he's just not ready for that. The Buccaneers are good.
I want quick scores on the Eagles.
I don't know about good, but they are solid. They did win a playoff game last year, so I'll give.
They were in. I was gonna say they were in the.
I give Baker and the boys that.
Right.
Corey, your Eagles game, 37-23, Packers.
How do you get that? 5 touchdowns and a safety?
I don't know. I just made up a number.
What do you think, Bill?
Packers or Eagles? You're asking me?
Eagles,
I think
Packers,
the Eagles win the game 24-21.
Yeah, Greg.
I'm gonna go like 30-35, man. I think it's Brazil. They're gonna put on a show. It'll be then
they're gonna go get high afterwards.
Probably.
Cocaine.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles. It pains me to say, but yeah, I think they'll get that one figured out for sure.
It seems like those foreign games are never high scoring, but it might be because they go to Europe. But like those are always
it's just the jet lag and the travel. It's just it's weird. It's a weird dynamic. Regardless, boys, week 1 is upon us. Football season is here. It's just kind of how we had the idea to start this podcast. We are not a football podcast, but this is kind of how we all came together in our original group thread, just bagging on Corey for being a Philly fan. So it's exciting to have another year upon us. We're going to transition now. Recovery segment. This was Corey's. I'm going to start it off, but it was Corey's idea this week. It's a great idea. We're going to talk about the necessary power, the necessity of identification in the rooms of recovery and why it's so important to identify and be around and be in recovery with people of the same or similar affliction that you have. So my life, just to go right into it, my life literally depends on my identification with the others in the rooms of recovery that I'm in. If I am in a room of recovery, I'm a drug addict and I'm an alcoholic. If I'm in a room of recovery, and I guess in that sense, I'm, uniquely situated that there are plenty of recovery fellowships and recovery programs that cater to the drug addict and the alcoholic. Maybe too many, which could be another conversation. But let's just say I was only, a pure alcoholic and I walk into a recovery room and all the people are talking about is like shooting up dope and Dilaudid and whatever the case may be. And I don't have experience with that. And I kind of say, you know what, I can't relate to this. This isn't for me. And I go out, I need to find the rooms, the recovery programs where there are people, quote unquote talking my language, right? I was taught that two of the most important words I could say when I got to recovery was me too. And one of the most important motions I could do was the head nod, right? As people are sharing and speaking, like if I'm not doing this from time to time or all the time, then I potentially could be in the wrong type of recovery. And I think that's extremely important. I think that over the years, new fellowships and new programs have sprung up, some as a result of people being pissed off or just wanting to start their own thing, some as a result of the treatment industry, and some fairly organically and naturally to a degree where they just really truly wanted to help people and thought they had an idea. And I think there are people that kind of cater to one recovery program or another, because of the history of it, or just the membership size, or just the overall reputation it has, that can't necessarily fully identify with what those people in those rooms are talking about. And that can be dangerous if I'm not in the right rooms, if I'm not in, identifying with the right types of people. And that, there's a piece in our literature that says frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices. The message that can interest and hold us alcoholics must have depth and weight. That comes from two places, the depth and weight. The depth and weight either comes from my own personal experience and like how much I've been beaten and broken down, and the circumstances in my life that have gotten me to the rooms of recovery where I'm just like, I'm sold. I know I'm an alcoholic. I know I'm a drug addict. Give me this program. I need to change something. Or we come in, as a lot of us do, definitely beat down and broken, definitely with plenty of personal experience that the way I was living is not working, but still with that little bit of like, well, maybe I can figure it out. And another person with our same affliction that's fully and properly armed with the facts about themselves can win my entire confidence in a short time because they're speaking my language and I relate to that. And that has depth and weight to me as well. So it's extremely important. One size fits all recovery, I don't believe in it. I do believe there are a lot of similarities in the solutions to some of these fellowships and these programs, but they are not all the same. Different drugs affect different drugs and versus alcohol, uppers, downers, they affect us differently. And I need to be in a room where I can fully identify with the people that are sharing. My life depends on it. So we're going to kick it over to Bill next, and then we'll go around.
Yeah, I love what you said there. I'm unprepared here, I guess, because I just landed a little bit ago. My phone is like rapidly dying on this call, so
that's why I went to you next. If you want,
but if this abruptly ends, my apologies. But anyway,
he didn't relapse, people. He's okay.
Yeah, I didn't hate the subject. So yeah, it's just that it's that important for me, and it's that important for the group to be able to be unified. Because if I'm sitting in a room, and I'm here for a certain affliction, and my whole purpose to keep recovery for this affliction is to bring it to the new person who comes in, and the new person comes in and says, "Well, I don't have your affliction." Like, well, we have a problem. You know what I mean? Because me, I'm going to be like, well, I don't think I can really help you. Maybe, you know what I mean? So, it's important for preservation as well of the recovery centered community that you're in. And it's also important because outside of the actual pep rally, meeting zones and all those things, that my group, like these three gentlemen here in my other group, they know and understand the mechanisms of my addiction. They know the mechanisms of my recovery as well, right? So if I see somebody and I love them enough to tell them why they're fucking up, right. The whole reason of that is because I can understand, because I've made the same mistakes. And so yeah, it's very important for me to come in and understand. And when I came in, I didn't even think I was what I know I am today. You know what I mean? I could not even fully identify. I actually came in and asked another gentleman with a lot of experience there to explain it to me in the process in which he learned it. And through that process, I had the eureka moment of identification. Started with the head nod, and yeah, I understand this, and I relate to that. Give me some more. So Yeah, I appreciate the topic, Corey. Thanks for pulling that one out, and that's all I got.
Thank you, Bill. If we lose you, we love you, and have a great time in Pittsburgh. Seriously, love you, man.
I love you guys too.
If
Thank
it's
you,
possible.
Corey.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a real cheesesteak anyway.
Oh my god.
Little Dutch apple pie.
Yeah, cheese with extra cheese. Yeah, I like what you guys said, and really, you guys hit it all, man. I too think it's extremely important to be with my crowd, to be with the crowd that knows exactly how, like Bill said, exactly how my addiction operates. It's important to share those war stories, honestly. Like that's I know
to a degree, yes.
Well, yes. I'm getting to it. Like we try to chill, just calm down.
My bad.
we do our best to shed light on the hope and the recovery part of our lives today, right? But as it said, you better have that story too, because when I walk into a room of recovery or community or whatever, and I'm a couple days sober, I may not be, probably not all that open to your God talk, to your great life today, all the stuff that eventually gave me hope. The fact that you got your credit cards back and you're driving a car that has 4 wheels, like that stuff will give me hope. But initially, like I kind of want to hear the stuff that you've been going through and well, maybe not want to, but that's what I kind of need to hear, right? Like,
yeah.
I want to hear the same ailments. I want to hear that you did a lot of the same stuff I did. When we get even further into this deal of like recovery, like I want to know, I mean, one of the biggest things that happened with me is that somebody sat me down and I kind of, in a way, professed, some of the deep, dark things that were keeping me sick for a long time. Mm-hmm. And, on my friend's end, it was the same stuff, and he was able to say like, yeah, like you said, Sean, me too. And that unlocked my world, right?
The Me Too movement.
Not quite, but yeah. But I mean, think about this too. I thought about this too when I suggested this. Like we're saying, it's so important to be with people like you, right? And I thought about it a little bit deeper, and I remember a time, and I don't know how else to say this. It's kind of raunchy, just so cover your ears.
Rip it.
I mean, it's not that bad to us, but for any listeners, sorry, Dad, but I remember a time that I was very loaded on a certain street substance that may be an opioid and starts with an H. And I had somebody come up to me who is primarily like a cocaine addict when I was mid-nod, right? Because that's what I'm looking for as a heroin addict, like I'm saying, is like that nod, that blissful like nod where I'm falling asleep, right? And then I wake up and I go, okay, it's all the euphoria, right? And I had this person come up to me and kind of like slap me and go, yo, wake up, dude. And I'm like, you don't do that to me. First off, like I was literally in heaven just now and you just ruined it.
Just ripped me back into reality.
Yeah. And like berated me that I was like falling asleep in the corner. Like, and then, of course they're like, here, try some of this. And that's how I got hooked on a whole other substance. But looking back today, like I can see that like they didn't understand what I was trying to achieve. They weren't into that specific substance that I was into. So we get told a lot of the time that a drug is a drug, right?
Right.
And it's not.
It's not.
And you didn't understand what he was trying to achieve either.
I came to understand it, but yeah, exactly. Like
through research.
and even today, like I can look back, I could tell you right now that like if, God forbid, if something happened, I can tell you that specific substance that I used to like to do, heroin, that's where I would go, because that was the thing. That's where that was the key that unlocked everything, that all the tumblers fell into place, right? That's how I'm wired. Now the other stuff would follow too, for sure, but like that was my love. So, and for that other person that I mentioned, like it wasn't theirs. So that level, we weren't seeing eye to eye on that, So basically, to wrap all that up, it's just important that, like Sean said, that I'm speaking, that they're speaking my language and I'm speaking their language. Because that way I can accept the rest of what they have to offer fully, that I can take the same path that they did, because I'll 100% firmly in my soul believe what they're saying. I couldn't get with the psychiatrist or whatever. What am I trying to say? Psychiatrist? Is that what
Therapist?
Therapist, whatever. Oh yeah, therapist is a much better word for me. I couldn't fully get on their level because there's just a lack of trust there. You didn't probably, maybe. I mean, you might be a drug addict, whatever the case may be. But I had plenty of therapists that weren't drug addicts or alcoholics.
Right. There's no street credit, so to speak.
Right. And lastly, I'll end with this. I promise. Sean, a few years ago, I don't know if you remember this, I kind of was not wrestling with, but I definitely questioned for a brief period of time.
I was thinking of that when you were talking earlier. Whether
I could identify as an alcoholic. And what I posed that question to you or whatever, and you referred me to some literature, and turns out, I definitely belong in a room full of alcoholics. I also belong in a room full of drug addicts. Like you said, Sean, I'm just lucky enough to have that. I don't,
which is a weird way to say that, but yeah,
right.
We are.
I don't identify with gamblers or sex addicts or whatever. I can see the reason behind it because I know what it's like for drugs, but I'm never going to be able to help those people. I don't have it. Right. But, like you said, I came back full circle, and what I want to end with is you also told me that night that I questioned this. Don't ever, Bill's gone. You said, don't ever stop asking these questions. You always want to be asking questions. And because that's another way we grow. So, yeah. So if you're out there and you're wondering, keep asking questions and talking to people that may be able to steer you in the right direction.
Very good. We wish Bill well on his way. Take us home, Greg.
Pittsburgh got him.
Thank you.
Yeah, the streets.
The mean streets of the Burgh. Just watch out for bridges, Bill. So
bridges.
I love this topic. I've always enjoyed the analogy, the fishing analogy with it, right? When I cast my line off into the water, I got my bait on there, but I got to set the hook, right? When the fish comes around and starts nibbling a little bit, I got to set the hook, and that's, Corey, kind of like you said, that's my spot for war stories. That's the place that war stories have in our recovery groups and whatnot. Is we got to set that hook, man. We gotta get them on our wavelength per se, and then we can reel them in. And when we're reeling them in, that's when they're coming closer and closer and closer to us, that's when we hit them with the, oh, hey, by the way, I here's what my credit score is nowadays, and here's the house that I have, and here's the wonderful woman that I met, and here's the life I'm building for myself and the career and all that. But for setting that hook, man, I got to make sure that I'm around the right people, right? And that I'm that I can identify with them. Because again, kind of what you guys were saying, but when I came in, yeah, those stories of hope are all well and good, man. But when I first came in and kind of questioning, like Sean was saying, do I have another one left in me? Was I really making a little bit of a big deal about nothing? Did I just need to get away from Cleveland? All those kind of things. And my mind is racing. So half that stuff you guys are saying, I'm not even listening to it because my mind, I'm in my own head, But when I hear somebody talk about, I spent, X amount of days or X amount of weeks waking up and praying not to take a drink, or praying not to call my dope man and go grab and go cop and shoot up. And I still did it anyways. Right. I promised my girlfriend, I promised my family, I all this, that, and the other. And I still went and did it. And it never, I could never stop that. Right. I could never walk past a bar and not go into it. And it's that's what I identify with. That's what clicks with me. Right. Is being an alcoholic and an addict of the hopeless variety. And that's the thing is, there are people that come around, man, and it's through no fault of their own, absolutely no fault of their own. You know, they go to rehab, or they, you know, they do have, they are those people that are making a little bit of a big deal about nothing, and maybe they just need to clean up their act a little bit. But they come in, and the line starts getting weird, and the waters start getting a little bit muddied, you know. So that's why, to me, in the different recovery groups and stuff that we have, the literature is important, because people and people's experiences and everything like that under the sun are going to differ here and there, right? But the literature that's been around for almost 100 years at this point is not going to be wrong. It is pretty on point and gives a pretty detailed description of what it means to be one of us, right? But yeah, and again, you know, I get sober, I get some time under my belt, you know, I go through the process of it. I start mentoring other people, you know, we start getting to that point, and there's times there, at least for me, where I'm like, oh yeah, I can help whoever, you know, whoever. They don't even have to be an addict or an alcoholic, because my life experience and everything that I've gone through can certainly help somebody. And it's not always the case, man. Like, you know, and it really took, I remember, when I was working in a treatment facility, and I was sitting there, I was talking to a girl who was struggling. She had some drug problems and whatnot, but she had a hardcore eating disorder, and I can remember her describing that to me, and I'm just like, yeah, this is not anything within my realm of, like, not expertise isn't even the word. I can't talk to this girl because I have no idea what she's going through. And it works the same way with people with hardcore mental health issues, people that are, I'm the kind of guy, I can take $200. I can walk into a casino. I could lose it all, or I could win a little bit, but that is all of the money that I'm taking. You know, I'm not going overboard. I'm not going to the ATM. I'm just there for fun. And if I win something, I win something cool. There are a lot of people that are not like that, you know. So like,
Yep.
I have no business talking at a gambler's recovery group, or, you know, anything like that, man. They've got recovery groups for everything nowadays. They've got cancer survivor groups. They've got, you know, what do they call it? You know, lip balm recovery groups
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like that. There's like, people are addicted to a lot of stuff nowadays, man. And I know that my disease, sobriety, if I start getting weird and getting off the beam or whatever, like my disease may manifest itself in certain ways, but I am certainly not addicted to those kind of things either. You know,
Right.
I belong in rooms with addicts and alcoholics. I belong helping addicts and alcoholics, and that's, you know, where I choose to spend my time.
Having the humility to know who you're equipped to help.
Yes.
So important.
Yes.
I wanted to touch on that too, and Greg, to your point, and you know, there's a lot of people that are addicted to drugs and alcohol that also have other afflictions, such as gambling or whatever it may be, sex or overeating or whatever the case may be. And I hope that, you know, they're able to reach people on those levels as well. And I think, Corey, you just said it, and Greg, you touched on it as well, and Bill even did. We all kind of did, but it's so important. So as I stated, like, my life depends on my identification with others in the room. But once I get to the point where I'm recovered, or I'm in a good place and in a really strong foundation with my sobriety, and I'm trying to mentor and help others, and again, we're three of us are fortunate because we're dually addicted, right? Drugs and alcohol. We can help those people, no matter if they are as well. But someone like the guy that mentored me, who's more so purely an alcoholic, the reason that him and I worked is because we both had alcoholism in common. He doesn't try to help or mentor drug addicts. He just doesn't. He knows his limits. And he taught me that. So if you're listening, whether you're sober or trying to be sober or have been sober for a while, help the people that you can help by your own experience.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, you just said it really good. Like, have the humility and know exactly what you're bringing to the table, because we're literally putting people's lives in our hands. Even though we're not the power as humans, we could be setting them on a course that ultimately leads to their demise if we don't just stay in our lane, so to speak, and try to help the people that we have experience, like the problems that we have experience with. And I'll leave it on this. It's kind of a funny little notion, but it was it was just a good to me when I was getting sober. And a lot of times we hear it all the time. I'm an alcoholic and an addict, right? And it's not that I can't say that or shouldn't say that. It's just that, again, depending on what, type of room of recovery I'm in, yes, we're people that don't want to conform, whatever that may be. But I was taught, like, saying you're an alcoholic and an addict today is kind of like saying, like, I'm from Philly, and I'm from Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? It's like, it's an obvious. I live in Stewart and I live in Florida. And a lot of us are dually addicted today. And again, we have a multitude of different fellowships and different programs we can go to. And I'm grateful for that. I really am. I've definitely found my home. I know where I belong. I know what I love. I know what I'm passionate about. But I also know that I can share this spiritual solution with just about anyone who wants to listen. Right? The solution is God. The solution is spiritual. There's different things that go along with it, but ultimately, right, we are unapologetically about God. But in order to, and Bill said it well, in order to get me to that place where I believe that the solution is God, I have to identify with the people around me. And that's vitally important. And by vital, I mean life-giving. So,
Sean,
all I got for tonight.
I heard a guy say once, if we were to sit here and say all my andas, we'd be here all night and tomorrow.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That guy is.
It was funny as hell when he said it.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
But it's true.
It is true.
So, any parting thoughts? Any closing thoughts from anybody? Greg, I hope you have a good time up there with a little weekend getaway.
Yeah, man.
That fire is looking romantic, dude.
Hawking Hill.
This fire is just for show, by the way, because it's hot enough outside, but
You're already on
rather
fire.
Romantic looking. Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Go Ravens. Go Browns. Go
Browns.
Steelers.
Go Browns, because fuck Dallas.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
All right. Shout out to our listeners. Please like, follow, and share. This is about the time that Janine would say, land the plane, guys. Shout out to our
30
listeners.
seconds ago.
Please like, follow, and share on all socials at Trudge Report Pod. Email us, trudgereportpod@yahoo.com. Send mailbag requests for topics, questions, and comments. Or if you just want to get on Corey's ass a little bit, to any of these handles. Remember, we are all it's healing nicely. Get on
healing.
Remember, we are all here. If anyone, God, we didn't even shout that out. Anyone wants to talk about recovery and our experiences, or if you are struggling with some form of addiction, we are uniquely qualified to help multiple types of addictions. Again, quick reminder, this episode will air on Tuesday, September 3rd. And then we will not have another episode uploaded until Thursday, September 12th. Starting on September 12th and going forward after that, until further notice, episodes will be released on your listening platforms every Thursday, with the video portion on your watching platforms the following day on Fridays. Thank you again to Janine and Stella Mix Podcast, whenever Corey gets it. Stella Mix Podcast Management. Good night, God bless, and may you trudge the road of happy destiny. We'll see you next week.